Hey everyone, Red Rebel Jeff Jones here. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the removal of Irish tricolours from street poles in both Cork and Dublin city centres. I think it's a trend that is concerning, but it's not that surprising given the government's attitude towards their own people. Now, what's been going on with Cork with the flags has been reported by Gript Media, and I think the article is actually really good in this. So, Cork City Council said they removed Irish tricolours as litter. Now, this was put up by Dr. Matt Tracy. He's a regular writer for Gript, and I think it really does show the dislike the government has for their own culture. So last week, dozens of Irish national flags, 170 according to some of the people who claim to have brought them and erected them, were removed by persons working for Cork City Council. Compound matters, photographs of other people, not employees, of the City Council, it must be stressed, was circulated on social media, which showed them erecting Palestinian flags at some of the same locations where the tricolours have been removed on the South Mall. Now, this is actually quite interesting because it talks about Palestinian flags, but there's a lot of other flags that are put up, particularly pride flags, the trans flag, those kinds of flags as well. So it's not just Palestinian flags that are put up. So Tracy, the author of the article, contacted Cork City Council and asked them several questions. Under what city ordinance or regulation was the removal carried out? Whether councillors were consulted about the removal or was the removal proposed by any members of the council? And if so, was this discussed at any area committee meeting or full meeting of the council? He also referred to the claims that other flags appear to have been placed on some of the same lampposts, and if the council will be taking measures to remove those flags as well. In their response, the council stated that Cork City Council arranged for the removal last week of more than 70 flags from the public streetlights. I can actually tell you it's a lot more than 70, which had been attached without permission. And I think this is kind of the angle they've gone about it, that they were put up without permission. But I can tell you the other flags were put up without permission as well, and they're not particularly quick about removing them. The reason for this was that the City Council does not permit the attaching of any items to public street light poles on health and safety grounds, and to protect what is public infrastructure unless previously approved by the City Council, i.e. posters that comply with our postering protocol or election posters when elections have been called. Like the presidential elections, that's why they're allowed to be put up. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't like those posters being put up either, because there's way too many of them. The council pointed out that Section 19(1) of the Litter Pollution Act 1997 provides local authorities the power to remove unauthorised, erected without permission of the property owner, flags or any other articles from public places. With regard to whether the elected councillors had been discussed or if the issue had been raised at any local committee or other meetings, the council told me that councillors were not consulted in advance about the work. Councillors are not usually consulted about routine operational matters like this. That was confirmed by councillors that Tracy contacted. In relation to the claims by others, in some cases the tricolours had been almost immediately replaced by Palestinian flags, I was told that the City Council will act in due course to remove any items attached without permission to public infrastructure. However, local people claim that those flags are still in situ, so we must await to see how long in due course means. Yeah, and this is something I've kind of noticed as well. I don't go into the city centre that often, even though I'm not that far from it. Like, would say about 15 minutes walk where I live, and you're in the city centre. And I've noticed quite a few of these flags up, and I have noticed some of the tricolours, but I've also noticed them being taken down as well. And I've seen other flags, like the Palestinian ones, being put up as like there's no way like they got permission to do that. If it's not correct for the Irish flag to be put up, there's no way in hell they would have gotten permission for the Palestinian flag or even any of the pride flags they constantly put up on them. Now I think the fact that they're so quick to take these flags down when Palestinian flags and pride flags are put up and they're not a problem really kind of shows I want to say it and I don't like using the word, the hatred that the Irish government and the local councils have for their own country. Because it's an idea of nationalism, and nationalism is said to be racist. It's not racist. And also, given the history of Ireland, like being proud to be a free country, because a lot of Irish men and women died, sacrificed themselves so that we could be free. Like Michael Collins. Like, we are a free country, and that flag is the symbol of that. And yet, it's considered offensive these days that we can't really be looking at that symbol. And actually, something similar was happening in the UK as well, where flags were put up and they were taken down faster than anyone could even imagine. And there was even people painting them on the ground to see how fast they'd be removed, and they'd be removed very fast. I think one of the funniest ones were people were actually in potholes that the local councils weren't bothering with. They were painting the Union Jack on the bottom of them to see if the councils would fill them in. And that's exactly what they'd do. They'd fill in those potholes to try and hide the Union Jack. So I think this is another example of the contempt that the Irish government have for the Irish people as well as Irish culture. But given the fact that Ireland is a nation state that was set up so the Irish people as a people could be protected and safe and their culture, the Irish culture, could thrive. That was the reason for the Irish freedom movement. I think the fact that the government is almost no, they're almost embarrassed by that. So yeah, it's an interesting one. What do you guys think? Share your thoughts with me in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear them. And if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button and do not forget to subscribe to keep up with my latest videos. I think this isn't going to lead somewhere very good, but only time will tell. And it's an interesting way they've gone about it, or how quickly they remove them. But yet, they're not so quick to remove the politically correct flags. Like, it really does show how how the Irish government have really lost their way in terms of governing the people they're meant to govern.